What did humans do when they were sick? Today, getting sick is scary. But at least we have names for it. Fever, infection, virus. We have doctors, we have medicine, we have answers. But imagine waking up with a burning fever and having absolutely no idea why. No doctor, no diagnosis, no word for bacteria. Just you, the pain, and the invisible mystery that could be killing you. Just a hot forehead, shaking hands, pain in the belly, a swollen wound, a child who will not wake up, or an elder who suddenly cannot stand. And everyone around you has to guess. That is the part we forget. Before medicine became a system, sickness was not only a body problem. It was a group emergency. Because in a small band of humans, one sick person changed everything. Someone had to carry them. Someone had to watch them. Someone had to bring water. Someone had to decide whether to keep moving or stop. And someone had to wonder the question nobody wanted to say out loud. Is this person going to survive? So what did humans do when they were sick? The first answer is simple. They tried to keep the sick person alive long enough for the body to fix itself. That sounds small, but it may be one of the oldest forms of medicine. Rest, warmth, water, shade, food, touch, protection. Before pills, there was care. If someone had a fever, the group might move them into shade, cool them with water, keep insects away, and wait. If someone was cold and shaking, they might be pulled closer to bodies, hides, or a fire. If someone was weak, others might bring food to them instead of leaving them behind. And that matters, because many illnesses are not solved by a magic plant or a perfect cure. They are survived hour by hour. A person with diarrhea needs water. A person with fever needs rest. A person with a wound needs protection. A child needs someone to notice when they are getting worse. A sick elder needs someone to stay near them through the night. In other words, ancient healing often began as attention. Someone looked at you and decided you were still worth effort. That may sound emotional, but it was practical too. Humans are slow, fragile animals. A single person alone in the wild is in trouble very quickly. But a cared-for person has a chance. This is why signs of ancient care are so powerful. Archaeologists have found old human remains with healed injuries that would have made survival difficult without help. Broken bones that healed. Lost teeth in people who still lived for years. Severe disabilities in people who must have been supported. These bones do not speak. But they suggest something quiet and important. Someone stayed. Someone shared food. Someone slowed down. Someone protected a person who could not fully protect themselves. And that means sickness did not always mean abandonment. Sometimes it meant the group closed in around you. But here is the strange part. Humans also had to fear sickness. Because some sickness spreads. Ancient people did not need microscopes to notice patterns. They could see that if one person coughed, others might cough later. If one wound smelled wrong, the person might get worse. If certain food made one person vomit, others avoided it. If a camp near dirty water made people sick, the place became suspicious. They did not know the science, but they knew repetition. They knew memory. They knew, do not eat that again. Do not sleep there again. Do not touch that wound. Do not ignore that smell. This is how early health knowledge probably grew. Not from laboratories. From fear, observation, and stories told around fires. A child might learn that one plant helps a stomach ache. Another plant makes the mouth burn. A certain bark can be chewed. A certain berry is only safe at one time of year. A certain waterhole is bad after heavy rain. A certain animal is dangerous when found dead. This knowledge was not written down. It lived inside people, especially older people. especially gatherers, healers, parents, and anyone who had watched others suffer and remembered what happened next. Before medicine had books, it had memory. But memory was not perfect. And that created another problem. When someone got sick, people had to explain it. The body can fail in ways that feel mysterious. Pain can appear from nowhere. A fever can make someone shake, sweat, speak strangely, or see things that are not there. A seizure can look terrifying. A wound can turn dark. A person can be fine in the morning and close to death by night. Without modern biology, sickness could look like attack, like punishment, like bad luck, like a spirit, like a curse, like something invisible had entered the body. And in a way, that last guess was not completely wrong. They just did not know what invisible meant. So healing was often both practical and spiritual. Someone might wash a wound. Someone might press herbs onto it. Someone might sing. Someone might pray. Someone might call on ancestors. Someone might ask what rule had been broken. Someone might try to scare the sickness away. To us, that can sound strange. But imagine the fear in the camp. A child is burning with fever. The parents are exhausted. The group is silent. Nobody knows if mourning will bring relief or grief. In that moment, a ritual is not just superstition. It gives people something to do when doing nothing feels impossible. It gives fear a shape. It gives the group a shared action. And sometimes, mixed inside the ritual, there may have been real useful care. Warmth, water, cleaning, plant medicine, rest, keeping the sick person close. The problem was that ancient medicine had no clean line between what worked, what comforted, and what only seemed to work. If someone recovered after a song, was it the song, the herb, the water, the rest, the body healing itself? Nobody could be sure. So humans remembered the whole story. And the next time someone got sick, they repeated it. This is how medicine and belief grew together. Not because ancient people were foolish, but because sickness is confusing and survival rewards anything that might help. Over time, humans learned real treatments. They learned that some plants reduce pain. Some plants calm the stomach. Some plants help wounds. Honey can protect a wound. Clean water matters. Smoke can keep insects away. Splints can help broken bones heal straighter. Pressure can slow bleeding. Rest can save energy. And food can become medicine when the body is weak. But they also made mistakes. They used dangerous plants. They misunderstood causes. They blamed the wrong person. They feared the sick. They sometimes isolated people who needed comfort. They sometimes stayed too close to sickness that could spread. Ancient care was human. That means it was kind, frightened, clever, wrong, brave, and desperate all at once. And maybe that is the most honest picture. Not a wise healer with every answer. Not a helpless group doing nothing. But people trying to read the body, trying to read the land, trying to remember who survived last time, trying to save someone they loved. And then everything changed as humans settled into larger villages and cities. Sickness changed too. When people lived closer together, disease could travel faster. When animals lived near humans, new sicknesses could jump between species. When waste stayed near water, entire communities could become ill. Civilization made many things safer, but it also created new kinds of danger. More people, more animals, more trade, more waste, more chances for sickness to move. So medicine had to become more organized. Healers became more important. Rituals became more formal. Plant knowledge became more specialized. Care became a role. Eventually, humans built medical traditions, hospitals, surgery, public health, vaccines, antibiotics, and science. But underneath all of that, The oldest layer is still there. Someone notices you are not well. Someone brings water. Someone touches your forehead. Someone stays nearby. Someone says you are not alone. That is older than doctors, older than hospitals, older than writing, maybe older than our species as we know it. Because sickness reveals something very basic about humans. We are not built to suffer alone. A sick person reminds the group that any body can fail. The strong can become weak. The useful can need help. The hunter can become the one being carried. The parent can become the one watched over by a child. And when that happens, the group has a choice. Leave them or care for them. Again and again, across deep time, humans often chose care. Not always, not perfectly, but often enough that broken bones healed. Elders survived. Children recovered. Knowledge was passed on. And the idea of medicine slowly grew from something very simple. Stay close. Pay attention. Try something. Remember what happened. Share what worked. So what did humans do when they were sick? They guessed. They watched. They feared. They prayed. They used plants. They rested. They made mistakes. And when they were lucky, someone cared for them long enough to survive. That is the beginning of medicine. Not a pill, not a hospital, not a machine. A frightened group around a fragile body trying not to lose one of their own.